the Booster Club?
So the Booster Club's goal is to raise money and be able to improve facilities and equipment throughout our district. Our Booster Club board this year is Brian Colthard's our vice president, Gooch and Molly Lucy's our treasurer, concession stand coordinators Kristen Miller, my wife Connie is secretary, and I am your president for another year. You may or may not realize it, but the Booster Club actually donates hundreds, and that is plural, hundreds of thousands of dollars in the last handful of years to improve facilities here at Cuba City. So we're pretty proud of that. Everything from a baseball field to track facilities to football facilities, and we have touched every single sport in our district in one way or another in the last few years. So one way we do that is through an auction. You'll be hearing about that later this year, but where you come in is our other way that we primarily raise money is through concession stands. We are in charge of every concession stand for sporting events here at the district and literally makes tens of thousands of dollars, and it is a major undertaking for all of the concession stands that we run. So what we ask is if you're student athlete, if you have a student athlete in athletics here at the high school or in 7th and 8th grade, that you work at least one concession stand a year. I don't think working one concession stand or two is asking too much for all that we give back as a district. So how you can sign up for that is one of two ways. You will see a Google Docs come through the district. So it's a sign up on the sheet for Google Docs. Sign up for a day that works for you, and you'll work a concession stand a couple of hours and you're done. If another way to sign up is tonight at the Kristen Miller, our concession stand coordinator, will be in the gym with a sheet sign up for football and volleyball this year. So if you have some dates, oh, there she is. You have them there. So that is sign ups for, there is 5 football games, there is 5 varsity games, 4 JV games, and I think 6 volleyball games to start our season. So if you have time to sign up for that, that would be great. Again, is all the money that we raise from those concession stands goes back into improved facilities or equipment here at Cuba City School District. All right, so thanks for your time. Sign up with Kristen later today. And if not, sign up on that Google Docs. If you have any questions concerning any of that, talk to Kristen, myself, Brian, anybody that is on the Booster Club board will be glad to help. All right?
Thank you.
Good.
All right, first of all, I am super excited to be standing all in front of you in the same room for the first time in a long time. If you guys were involved in sports last year here at Cuba City, I just want to thank you all for making it as easy as it possibly was. Hopefully that's the hardest year of sports scheduling I ever have to deal with in my entire life. It should be smooth sailing from here on out. Tonight's meeting, I just want to go over a few things. Some of you might be 6th graders, or some of you might be going out for sports for the first time in your life. There's just a few things I want you to be able to take care of. So you're, first of all, eligible to practice. And second of all, understand how you need to act in school, what you need to do for grades, and those kind of things. All right? Here we go. First things first, in order for you to be able to practice, you need to turn in 3 things here at the school. First things first, you need to turn in a physical form. Athletes must have a physical every 2 years. So those are the green sheets that everybody sees. Those are the physical forms. If you get that done, the very next year you get what is called an alternate card. It's a yellow card that your parents will sign out for you, fill out for you, and turn into the school. Those have to be in before the first day of practice in whatever sport you play in order for you to practice. Secondly, electronically, the school requires you to sign your name in a signature sheet saying that you read the code of conduct and the student handbook. So those things are taken care of electronically. Please go through the code of conduct with your son or daughter. We're going to touch on some main points here. It's not very long. It's like a page and a half on the middle school level. It's not as long as the high school level, but there are some things in there that you're going to want to sit down with, so in case something does happen, All the answers are right there in front of you. Lastly, everyone owes a yearly sports fee of $50. That covers you for the whole year. If you play 4 sports, if you play 3 sports, one time, $50 takes care of you for the whole year. Three things I pulled out from the code of conduct. First one is behavior deemed inappropriate. As an athlete, you'll be subject to suspension if your behavior has been deemed inappropriate. This behavior may happen inside or outside of school. We hold our athletes to a high standard and expect them to behave accordingly. If you're out for a sport, you're expected to act like a champion every day, whether that's at school or away from school. Does everybody understand that, students? Okay? That's pretty much what I wanted to touch on that. That's a wide array of things that can happen. Just make sure that you're making the right decisions if you're out for a sport, so we don't have to go over these things. Secondly is that an academic suspension. We do things here a little bit differently than the high school. We check your grades. I personally check your grades every week on Monday. Any student failing with an F on Monday is given 1 week. I usually reach out to those teachers for your students. I usually touch base with your students, and those usually get taken care of within that first week. If those grades don't come up within the first week, the athlete is suspended for that next week of games. Appropriate actions will be put in place to help the child become eligible. Athletes who are ineligible will be required to attend homework club after school. Instead of going to practice, they would go to homework club, get their homework done, and then they would go to practice. Number 3, sign out for road contests. You must sign out, athletes must be signed out by their own parent or guardian. If that is not possible and you want to make other arrangements, those arrangements must be taken care of the day before the contest with the coach, and you have to let the office know. Usually you would send an email to me, I would print that off, and the principal would sign it, and I would give it to the coach saying that so-and-so is going to go home with this adult. That way we know where everybody's going and they are all taken care of. A pretty special thing we do here is early release Fridays. We do have early release every Friday. We still have practices on those Fridays. So from, I think it's 1:45 until 3:30, if you want your child to stay at school here in a study hall-like atmosphere with me, you can sign those students up, and I will take them in a room in the school, and we'll hang out and do whatever they want. They won't be running around town. If you want them to come to the study hall with me, you would sign them up. I would get your number and everything, and if they don't show up, I call you immediately after school to make sure we know where they are. Next thing I want to touch on is the chain of command, which is really, really, really important when it comes to sports, especially nowadays. The first step of the chain of command is player to coach. Players have questions, they should ask their coach first. Most of the time, those questions can't be answered. Understand that those answers you get might not be the correct answer, but that communication is very important. Let your child, students, don't be afraid, have those conversations with your coaches. It's going to make it easy for everyone. If you feel that doesn't work out, then you can have a player or parent contact the coach. Set up a meeting with your coach. Don't try to set up that meeting after a game or after a practice. Reach out to that coach in their free time and set up that meeting. If you feel like that hasn't worked, then it's time to reach out to your athletic director or principal. You reach out to me, and then we can set up a meeting to get everybody in a room together, and we'll figure out what's going on. Try to answer all your questions. Please understand, we will not talk about playing time. The only people that talk about playing time are the coaches and the athletes. Those are the only people that are there every day at practice and at games. Those are the people that know. Parents should not be talking about playing time with coaches in any form or fashion. Players must have these conversations with their coaches, and our conference on the middle school level is awesome because most of our games are set up in a way where everyone plays to begin with. We'll play 6 volleyball games, so one team could play games 1, 3, and 5, and the other team plays 2, 4, and 6. Basketball is the same way. We'll play an extra quarter so people can play. A lot of different ways that I personally communicate with everybody about schedules and practices and so forth. First one is Bright Arrow. You probably got the notification from Bright Arrow for me sending an email to you all at the same time. Our school has an awesome group of people that run our Facebook pages. I also run a Cuba City Middle School activities Facebook page. We tend to put all the games up there where you can watch them online and all that kind of stuff and get all that information out to you through that. And then there's also an Our School calendar. I personally love our school. So Our School can be found at the school website. I don't have everything in there right now as I'm working on still trying to put a football schedule together. But if you find this Our School schedule, you'll kind of find every activity that's going on here at school. These are probably all going to be empty, but if you look over here, you'll find basketball and football once we get it there, and volleyball. If you click on these, if your student's involved in girls volleyball and view, it'll come up with every game or practice that are put into Our School. I put every practice and every game into those calendars, so you will be able to find those there. That's a tool that I love to use personally. If you have any questions about games or practices, they're not in there yet, but they will be in there very soon. One of the last things I want to touch on is good sportsmanship from everybody here in this room. Please encourage athletes to be courteous to coaches, players, teammates, referees, and anyone else that may be involved in the activity. We want to promote a positive atmosphere that is not only beneficial to your children athletically, but mentally, physically, and academically. This is very important for me, just personally. I've actually coached basketball, high school athletics since 2004. I'm getting pretty old, I feel. I'm losing a lot of hair. I'm kind of seeing an erosion of this every time I walk into a gym. I coach basketball, so it tends to be in a gym where everybody can scream and holler, and it gets really loud. I just want to stress being positive. No matter what happens, we can all learn from every situation when we go out for sports. That's what they're meant for. Hopefully not bursting the bubble in here. If you have dreams to go play in the NBA, go chase those. But more than likely, that's not going to happen. I want you to have fun, first of all. I want your kids to have fun. This is the first year we have football. I really want those kids to have fun because I want them to go out in high school. It's all about them having fun. Don't put pressure on yourself. Don't put pressure on your kid to be the next LeBron James or Giannis Antetokounmpo. That's about it. Okay. Last thing, we have some dates for you all, important dates. If you are going to participate in a sport this coming fall, football practice is going to start, he pulled my leg, August 12th at 5 o'clock, which is a Thursday. You're going to spend Thursday and Friday, gentlemen, running and running and running and running, from what I've been told. So that's what's going to happen there. You're going to get a nice break on the weekend, and then you're going to hit our first. I'm really excited about having middle school football here. I think it's awesome. Our first week of football practice here after that. Cross country practice will start Monday, August 13th at 3:30. August 16th at 3:30. That's with Coach Matthews here, and that'll be at the school. Volleyball practice is a little bit farther away. It will start Monday, August 27th. For now, this date may change. Usually, volleyball doesn't start until school starts. So we'll have to talk to your coaches and see if they're available to start then, and see what works best for them.
Mr. Wood, would you just share which grade levels can participate in those? Because
Yep. So the main question is, what can sixth graders participate in? Sixth graders can participate here in cross country and track. Or not cross country and wrestling, not track. Someone had asked about track, and the reason we don't let sixth graders participate in track is because we have 60 to 70 kids in 7th and 8th grade alone. So we would probably be talking about close to 100 if we had sixth graders participate. So sixth graders, you could participate in cross country and wrestling, and those are awesome programs. Really awesome coaches in both those programs. So if you or your friends are having questions about those, Coach Dinar is the wrestling coach, and he is an awesome coach. It's awesome for you guys to be involved in those things. And it gives you a little taste once you start hitting the road and once you get to 7th and 8th grade. Other than that, that's it. Yeah.
August 27th is a Friday, so should we be the Monday before or the Monday after?
That's a good question. But probably the Monday after. Probably the work, I would assume it would be the Monday before school starts. Sorry about that.
One more thing in mind for those that are involved, like crowd food wrestling that are 4th, 5th grade and younger, we do have a youth program. But if you want more information on that, you can reach out to me or anyone on the wrestling club board, which is Tim and myself. Mike Manscando, Terry Curtis.
The last thing I will say, if you can, especially those on YouTube right now, please go subscribe to our school's YouTube page. There is a stipulation with everything that we stream now. We want to stream things through YouTube. Right until we get 1,000 people to subscribe to our YouTube channel, we have to stream through a laptop, which can be cumbersome when you're trying to tape a football game. You don't really want to hold on to a laptop. We'd like to be able to do that with an iPad. So if we could get 1,000 subscribers as quick as possible, so we could take care of that, that'd be great. Other than that, that's it. Make sure everybody signs in and signs up for a sport. If you're going to go out for cross country, Coach Matthews would like to have a meeting with a quick meeting with you after you're done here.
please come see me first, because I have to go in there for my